Um, it's a bit windy out, but I wanted to go ahead and make this one just real quick before I head out, right? So some pros and cons to talking about the term astrology, and if you're watching this video, go back to the previous videos I made where we spoke about all the baggage that comes with the word. So you have to be an individual who's in the space to even understand what, where, and why the word and where it originates from and what comes with it, right? So I wanted to talk about pros and cons to when, you happen to become an individual who gets involved with, or now with me, obviously, if you're just making a video and you have the title of the word in the video and you choose to put it on the internet, then you're pretty much involving yourself with the term, and that's pretty much as far as I'll go with my involvement. I'm more so looking at this as like a discussion board from a point of view. So some pros to it, well, there's a lot of intellectual information that's gonna come with it, and it's gonna have a mindset that's gonna help you in life. If you're someone who knows how to, like I said before, look past the word and all the baggage that comes with it when it comes into terms of religion and the words within that word, and you know what I mean, and or traditions and origination, and you can even get into culture, and so there's a lot of pros to understanding astrology. And like I said before, I'm not an astrologer, but there is a big difference between an astrologer and someone who just understands astrology. So know that too. Just because someone is speaking on the topic doesn't mean they're claiming to be some sort of doctorate or intellect, or no, I'm not claiming to be any of that, but that is some pros that'll come with it for sure. You will be in a space where you actually can freely speak about it in front of the camera and have the nerve to upload it, to the public, because you already understand a lot of spaces that people have previously been in before and why, and where they come from. And so this is why when it comes to astrology, obviously in order for you to even understand the concept, geographical location obviously and time plays a role. So that's some pros with it too. It helps you understand all the characteristics of life, school, psychology. It's a very helpful tool if you're someone who knows how to distinguish beyond the word. So it's very helpful. So that's a lot of pros, if you ask me, that comes with it. Now, there are cons. Obviously, with information, can come, situations in which there's division and conflict. And this is where we get into stuff like crime and laws and, even the English language, and forming groups and teams and a legislator and the court system and a bunch of stuff like that. So obviously it causes a bunch of division, depending on people who are in certain awarenesses, and that's a con too, and why it causes a lot of issues, just beyond the word, because of awareness versus awareness. And you know what I'm saying, when you have you can have multiple people in a room, and if you gather half of them from a certain geographical location and half of them from another geographical location in which they come from different spaces and are not aware of each other spaces, then yeah, that's going to be kind of, that's almost like and that's where we get science. And that's where we get you building a hypothesis from just what I just told you right there. So, there's a lot that stems and a lot that can be created from that. And so that's why, as a con, why it can cause conflict, because then now you need to find that median ground between, the title itself. Now, pros, if you're someone who is willing to, go further into bettering yourself, because that's all it should be looked at, is as a tool and bettering yourself. So you know what I mean? And my fault, I'm probably going to call this video like, you know, why do people who understand astrology are looked at as evil, or you know, if that's still a thing, or you know, we're just looking beyond the word, you know, and like the pros and cons to it. And pros, you can use it to help yourself grow, but the cons with that, because it's kind of like a middle ground, is the term procrastination. And you come up with reasons of, well, this and this right here is why this and that, and it's like, no, you got to actually do stuff. So that's when we get into the confusion with individuals who are only willing to go as surface level with the term, and not seeing beyond all the external physical sun, the way it looks and what you're doing and how you do it and why you're doing it, you know, and the way you live and why you live that way. And that's where you get into houses and stuff like that, but those are words to describe it. So, but like I said before, the cons is all that confusion in it, you know, and so that's what it was used to build our universe today. But it's just a word being used to describe that. So with that being said, and just based upon correspondence, that's a very important word with the topic, right? So what does that have to do with time, right? And the timing you find stuff or whatever, and how it's going to relate to the people who you grew up with and people who you related to and people who you were cool with, right? And how it's going to change over time because of correspondence and what people become aware of and different spaces people reach, you know, within themselves. You know what I mean? And then it can influence. So with cons, it can ruin relationships, bro, based upon what spaces people are aware of. Yeah, you know. Now, you can use it to patch up relationships, but you don't have to actually use the term astrology and use, well, I'm this zodiac, so this is why, this and that. It's just a tool being used to describe. All that stuff is on surface level. When you talk about, you know, what the sun represents and what the moon represents and what the Mercury represents, that's, to be honest with you, all on surface level. You can go on Google, you could type all that in, and you can find out your stuff. But the reason people can't see beyond that space of just the natal chart is because of not seeing beyond what they've externally been in and built and what they're comfortable in. And that's, you know, for the most part, why a lot of astrologers and people who understand astrology came from a space where they were very uncomfortable. And that's why you will have a lot of astrologers talk about how they have alignments that are uncomfortable and why they reached a position in what you're doing right now, you know? So with that being said, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can see what 2 points I'm coming across, and I spoke about it in a way where we're all on even ground, you know what I mean? But, this video has probably been going on for a minute, man. Let me see if I can add more. The reason I'm, you know, and if you're someone who's in the space I'm in right now, you can tell why I'm kind of making these videos, and you can kind of understand where I'm coming from, you know? But, it's all about learning, bro, you know? It's not even about the word itself and, you know, what comes with it, because I feel like the main reason people find it evil is because of all that confusion that comes with it, and how you just got roped into something that's so broad, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that, where you're not trying to, because I don't try to relate to anyone, bro, you know what I'm saying? But it's not more so relation, but it's more so space frames. It's like, you know, what you can call it, kind of, you know? So that's why some individuals end up doing stuff in their own creative way, you know? And, you know, people talk about individuality, but it doesn't have to be a concept where everyone's just alone and doing their own stuff, like kind of how it is right now, where you can use it for growth. But you have to be able to see beyond the words and the way you want to be looked and stuff like that, and find what you individually want to do. But there's going to be a bunch of pros and cons with that. But if you could use it in a way, you know, but seeing beyond the word, man, it's baby steps, you know what I'm saying? Can you face like opposition talking about it? I mean, yeah, but that's with everything, bro, you know what I'm saying? I reached the middle ground with that, you know? I don't even know if I got the camera on. Damn, man, it feels like I've been going on for an hour, though. But yeah, I mean, okay, so you'll have content creators or people talk about how the reason they find it evil is because of all the confusion and involvement within individuals and understanding, you know, it can scare people, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude, you know what I'm saying? Depending on, you know, what you're doing or why you're doing it, the way you're talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, you know? So I'd say it's you don't want to be in a situation where you're literally just like away from everyone because of a topic. Like, that would be ridiculous, man. Especially when we're all doing the same shit. That's when you're someone who's not into astrology, but you can understand where I'm coming from where it's just a spiritual perspective, not an external perspective, where you wake up every morning, you pour your milk into your cereal, and you go to a school, and you learn all these, you know, literatures and textbooks and stuff like that, but don't think about how that shit was built in the first place. And that's where we come from, you know, information that's already been spoken about. You know what I mean? So it's about space frames and how it's able to continue cycle. As being every planet does a cycle, a 360 degrees. And then that's when you get into, you know, all the terms, you know, beneath it, like, you know, this planet square this planet, you know, terms like trine and terms like conjunction, and those are just beyond the word, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's some cool stuff if you're willing to, you know, be positive with it and stuff like that. But like I said before, bro, you're just, you know what I mean? Just, you know. Should I not talk about it? Or I don't know, bro. Like, let me end the video on that. Like, do you feel guilty talking about it? I don't know. Have I had people made me feel guilty about it? Yeah, say it's evil. Yeah, dude. And, you know, giving numbers to the pastor and shit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, giving you books with the, you know, devils with horns on it and stuff like that, bro. Yet these same people believe in Santa Claus, bro. So what's the difference? They're both depictions and, you know, like, depictions, man, like a picture, like a Hallmark movie, like the shit that, you know, that you look at and make you feel and act out stuff in a certain way. So it, you know, it has a lot to do with just the way you look at stuff, bro. Let me end the video on that. And why it's like a middle ground with me, right, is because you could be someone who understands the term in the title, right, and you can not be a good person. Yeah. Just like how you could be someone who doesn't understand it and not be a good person. And you could have someone who's into it and they could be a good person. And you could have someone who's not into it and they're a good person, bro. So it's about awareness. It's just about what you do. Do people need astrology in their life? Well, I mean, obviously they don't. Obviously, you can see there's people running around right now, man, majority of the world who don't know anything about it, and they're doing fine, you know? So obviously, it just has something to do with looking beyond the words, because we're all acting out the same stuff, but people get lost in words. This is why we get confusion, and, you know, this is just information that formed the world, bro, and there's really not much to it. And, you know, once you reach a point where you know all this, it's like, well, damn, man, what do you do now? I guess we would just continue living life, you know what I'm saying? And I laughed so hard because he said it in a video where he was like, man, we're just going to keep having the same dumb conversations on July 4th with the hot dog. And I laughed so hard at that, bro, because it's true. Having the same dumb discussions, man, about the sports with different people doing the same shit, especially when you see people, and it's really getting weird now, where you see people in real life doing them stuff professional athletes do, and it trying to be like covered under the rug, and it's like, dude, we've already watched all that, you know? So we'll see what 2023 has to bring, bro. I'm expecting quite a bit just because of all the technology out and stuff like that, but I see way beyond that stuff. I'll be honest with you, I'm not into all that, bro. I remember when I was into Xbox and 360 for real, and PlayStation, but I remember the Wii and doing all that shit. I remember doing it. It was funny, but it was like, I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I actually go play sports, bro. And, you know, that shit's just another way to get people lazy and in the house and not knowing what goes on in the world. to be honest with you. So all that VR headset, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the, shout them out to the radio, the radio cars and the helicopters and all this cool technology they got out, bro. But I see beyond all that and just how it was all created and why. And, don't get me wrong, man. The world, it's just making it a way where we're all just got to be comfortable, but some of us are out here and just can't be comfortable, and there's reasons to why people speak the way they do on stuff. And astrology, like I said before, I know I'm rambling on, bro, but you got to just look beyond the word. You know what I mean? I know, and sorry to anyone who's into astrology because I haven't spoken anything about it, but this is more so for people who face opposition with it and just problems beyond the word. And I know I'm trying not to say that a lot. I know that can be irritating, bro, but it is what it is, man. Some people, a lot of us are already comfortable in life. We don't have to look into certain stuff. We're just doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? As long as it's reaching a way where we're all comfortable and we're all happy with ourselves, then that's what we want, So anyway, and that's what it is, man. And like I said before, if you could be someone who can speak about this topic and see it in a way where it works for you, and like I said before, you got people who oppose it because of the readings, and you don't want to be associated with people who do that stuff. I'm not saying that. That's what someone, that's what another person reinstated, right? That, it's hard for me to be involved in an actual relationship. Now, it's not as if he were frowning upon it with someone who does readings and stuff like that, because they're all the people you're involved with and just that space that individual's in. And yeah, dude, it can be, yeah, when you get involved with certain people and certain, spiritual awarenesses and stuff like that, bro. But, we're all, as long as we all understand what we need and what we want and, what we look forward to in life in a positive way, then, hey, man, it's all good. But, I can see where someone like that is coming from. Before I reached certain awarenesses, there were times where I would, if I were like completely not into it, like let's say I was back into my awareness of age 17, and you can just judge someone externally from what they wear, or crystal ball, or whatever, just the way that people look and stuff like that, then it would put you in a certain awareness where you would be like, oh, I don't want to partake in that. But that's just because you're lost in what you've externally been taught to know, or taught to what they want you to know, and the way to look at stuff. You know what I mean? When you just gotta see beyond that, and it'll be fine. But anyway, I've been rambling, bro. But there's pros and cons to it, bro. So just you'll weigh them out, and you can. It ain't got to be nothing too crazy, bro. But anyway, because like I said before, it's just a word, but it's everything that comes with it. But I feel like like I said before, we talked about confusion, why, intentions, why you trying to involve yourself with understanding, beyond, but it, like I said before, you got to be in that right space frame with other individuals and the timing. So, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it there.